Hello, and welcome to the No Expectations podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm James.
I'm Max.
And today we're talking about the 1994 Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito film, Junior.
This is written by Kevin Wade and Chris Conrad and directed by Ivan Reitman.
The late, great Ivan Reitman, R.I.P. R.I.P.
As a part of a fertility research, a male scientist agrees to carry a pregnancy in his own body. That's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger in this particular movie.
As you can tell in the poster.
Yes, as you can tell, he's expecting a little bundle of joy.
Little Junior.
He's Junior. So, let's talk about this movie. So, what's crazy about this, what really blows my mind as far as being a movie viewer and a movie fan and a massive Arnold Schwarzenegger fan and a pretty big Danny DeVito fan as well, I've never seen this movie. This is a movie I haven't even watched like a little bit of. I had never watched this film at all. So it was a totally fresh experience for me, which was super interesting. And there's only so many of those left. Yep. You're only going to get so many of those from our favorite actors.
And this is one that I've recommended as well in high school and middle schools too for you to watch.
You've been a fan of this one for a long time.
But I didn't realize it was directed by Ivan Reitman, and this is their third film that they collaborated on?
Yes, because it was Twins, Kindergarten Cop, and then Junior.
Actually, I think it was Twins, this, then Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop was before this.
Was it?
Yeah, Kindergarten Cop was, I think, 1990, and then because there's the reason I really know that is because there's an early promo of Terminator 2 Judgment Day where Arnold kind of has his hair more red, like John Kimball, like it's like not as dark as it was in Terminator 2. That's because when there was a break in production when they were working on Kindergarten Cop, he went to shoot that promo with James Cameron, and then came back to finish out Kindergarten Cop.
Fun fact.
So fun fact, a little bonus fun fact. So this was super freaking bizarre. This movie was bizarre. Like, it was just weird. This was
kind
a
of
weird
fever
one.
dream.
Yeah, like this is one of those, I was actually kind of thinking of how I wanted to describe it, because there's parts of it that I'm glad are there, and there's other parts where I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking with this movie? And what it really feels like to me, what Junior feels like to me, is like a really excited group of writers and producers and directors got together and were like, hey, what if we did this movie about the guy getting pregnant? Someone's like, who should we get? Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they're like, who'd be funny too? Oh, Danny DeVito.
I literally told them I said the exact same thing.
Did you say the same thing?
They've got an all-star cast.
Yeah. I was like, guys came in the room. Who should we choose to do this? Like, let's get a big guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, like, because it's like fun. It's like, who would be funny to have pregnant? The big tough guy. Let's have the Terminator. Let's have freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger come in. Like it'd be the equivalent of like having like Sly or like Dolph Lundgren go in there and do it. Like, it's just so absurd visually. And then you throw in the contrast of Danny DeVito, which they've already done in Twins. But this was a weird one, man. And I almost feel like it's one of those ideas that got pitched kind of like in a hurry, and someone was like, green light, and Ivan Reitman was like, green light, but maybe it should have stayed in that idea phase.
I don't know. I still think it's enjoyable. It's a fun, weird movie. Am I
glad it's out there? Yeah.
I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it's made. Like, it's fun to see Arnold be a woman.
If I may speak to your concerns, please.
Yes, by all means.
When I was a sportswoman on the East German Olympic track and field team, they dispensed anabolic steroids as freely as here in America they dole out Gatorade.
They pushed it on them. I mean, just...
Nothing was mentioned of the side effects that are now so obviously painfully apparent. But I'm all woman.
Yeah, it's a time capsule for sure.
This is a movie that I thought about, like, for him as a scientist. He's only been a scientist twice, I think, right? Also, Mr. Freeze. This the way I think about it, like, this is him if we've always pitched that idea, like, if they made a next Terminator film. Who, like, he would be like the scientist they model him after.
He would be, yeah.
So this is how I pictured it when I was sitting here. I was like,
really?
Yeah, it's weird in the beginning, because he's more like stern and everything. Yeah. I was like, this is what it would look like if he was the scientist for Terminator.
Yeah, and I would love to do a video on that sometime where we dive a little deeper on the Terminator series and talk about what if movies, because where they really, really missed the mark on that, and we've said it before, is exactly that with Terminator Genesis and Terminator whatever the last one was.
I don't even know. It was bad.
Terminator Shitfest, whatever it was. No fault of Arnold's, they were just bad movies themselves, but they really should have had him just as a vulnerable human, still tough Arnold, but like an actual human, not a machine, who invented the Terminators and then was
100s,
modeled
yeah.
you know, they modeled him after him. And I don't know why they didn't do that, because it would have made sense, like him being older and him being a little more vulnerable as a human, but he still could be an action
Instead,
star,
we got these
you know?
grandpa Terminators.
Yeah, it's
running around.
stupid. It's a dumb concept, you know. And I get the Terminators can live to be like 150 or whatever it is in the story, but I think it would have been way better if they would have been like, no, he's a real guy and he's like ex-military or something.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. That's why they need us.
It's not gonna happen, unfortunately.
It's a bummer. But yeah, this one was weird. And I got to be honest. Like I said, I love Arnold and DeVito so much. It really hurts me to say anything negative about any of their movies. But this one only made me laugh like 2 or 3 times. Like it's one I probably won't go back and watch again.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of
I
it.
feel like you need to watch it again.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch it again at some point. Maybe you know, with you and in a different state of mind. Maybe have a couple drinks or something.
Is it just weird just seeing
But,
Arnold in this kind of role, like
It was weird.
portraying this character?
It was
You're just
weird,
used to
yeah.
that big action star, but like the way I
Yeah.
think about it is like he had all those weird like Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah,
and then,
but those are, I think, better scripts.
well, yeah,
Yeah, this one.
But I mean, it's just Max got it. That's just one of my the fever dream.
that was the only scene that made me laugh out loud.
It's
I
hilarious.
thought it was.
That was the only scene that scene made me laugh, and then the scene where he's like, "You want more Rocky Road?" and they're like eating Rocky Road ice cream and pickles and stuff. That was funny, and then there was
You know,
one
like
more.
where's my nipples are hard.
Eh.
Or is,
What? My nipples. They feel like kind of.
oh no, my nipples hurt.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know,
Oh,
you
you go
say-
surfing? Yeah, I don't know. There was something about it. It felt a little half baked to me.
Mm.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's very hard for me to say that about an Arnold movie, especially prime Arnold.
I get it.
But,
Though. There's a lot of people with this film that dislike this movie.
Yeah, and my
or
thing is,
or they just think it's really weird. Like I think it's
Yeah.
a strange film, but I still
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I also like, for me again, because I grew up watching this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have that little
Totally.
placement with it.
And I think that's special and that's good. And I don't want to knock it. I don't want to knock up Arnold, but yeah, I don't know. There was something about it. I just feel like Ivan Reitman and him had lightning in a bottle with Twins and with DeVito too, and also with Kindergarten Cop. Like that was like perfect. Like that's like a perfect balance of comedy and a little bit of action and really really good writing and pacing and everything. But
Well,
this one felt just off to me.
it was somebody's favorite movie who actually worked on the movie.
Oh
Really?
yeah. It's,
Ivan Reitman, out of all the Arnold movies that he did, it was his favorite.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing.
Well, just think about it though. It's like you have one of your like buddies dressing up as a woman. It's probably like
Sure.
on the set.
It was probably a lot of fun.
Fun
to
on
make.
the
Probably
set.
fun to make.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to make, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Just when I look at the caliber of Twins, like in my mind, Twins is like a 5-star movie. Like such a good comedy, so funny, great balance and everything. And Danny DeVito was really shined in that one. And then Kindergarten Cop is like just a classic. But maybe like also I don't have the nostalgia with this one. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of like I said, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just
And it
even
feels
watched
wrong
thought it
saying
was
anything
weird.
bad about it. It does feel wrong. Like I love those guys so much, all of them, Ivan Reitman included. But this one is a little bit of a miss for me. A little bit of a miss. I'm sorry. I know.
It's a fun.
I'm
Arnold
so
movie.
sorry.
It's just I don't know. I know, like you said, like Twins, and which the thing that sucks the most too, because they were, I think it's already too late, but they were talking in the air about Twins too.
Triplets,
And-
right?
Yeah, well, yeah, triplets.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be Eddie Murphy anymore.
Oh.
Actually, I think it's already being casted and everything. It's like green lighted.
Eddie Murphy would have been hilarious.
But I think it's Tracy Morgan. It's Tracy Morgan.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
Yeah, I know.
That's odd. That's almost they're like, who's another like successful black comedian? And I'm like, no, it's not about that. It's about the freaking era, man.
Yeah.
It's about the era.
It just
You
doesn't
need
make
those
sense to me.
You need those guys who were like from that time. Like those guys were all at the top of their game around the same time, and you need that.
The problem though now is I think it was originally going to be directed by Ivan Reitman still.
Well, maybe
I'm hoping
maybe
his son. I'm hoping his son.
What's his son? Jason.
Jason Reitman.
Yeah. There's a lot of famous Jason sons. There's Jason Reitman, and there's Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son from Led Zeppelin, who's a drummer also.
Name another one, Ben.
Jason Bourne.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of famous Jason directors.
That's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, Junior.
Jason Voorhees. But yeah, this one, I'm glad I saw it. You know, there's very few other Arnold movies that I have not seen. There's a few that I have seen less than others that I really want to go back and revisit, but I've still seen them a couple times. But like one that I can't quote and I don't remember all the way is like The Sixth Day.
Yeah.
I breathed in my water, sorry. And also End of Days. That's one I've only seen all the way through.
I don't think I've ever seen End of Days.
That would be fun to rewatch. That's one I remember distinctly seeing as a kid all the way through, and then like one more time, like partially through. I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago, but like I can't quote it. I can't tell you exactly what everything's about. So that would be a cool one. And then End of Days I would love to watch again. And then I've never seen Red Sonja.
Never seen that.
Or Sonja.
Does he have a big role in that?
I think he's Conan the Barbarian as like a supporting role.
Okay.
It's in the same universe, but that would be kind of cool to see because they were like they were all comic book characters, Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja, and I guess they were really into making movies about him back then. So Conan's actually coming to Tuesday Night Classics. Conan the Barbarian soon. So
actually, that would be amazing to see.
That would be awesome
I
to
don't
see.
think. Well, I think I've seen it, but I don't remember any of it.
I love Conan the Barbarian, and I was a huge Conan the Destroyer fan as a kid. I really enjoyed the sequel a lot when I was a kid.
You like sequels more?
It depends. It varies. Yeah. It varies. Well, I don't know though. Arguably,
Terminator 2.
I dare say, gun to my head, I think I prefer Terminator 1 if I had to pick. But they're so
you
close.
Can leave this room.
They're so close to me though. Like I feel like I've probably seen T2 a little bit more, but there's something just so, I don't know, something about Terminator 1 that's just so like raw. You know what I mean? I love them both.
That's another Arnold movie, Raw.
Yeah, exactly. Raw deal. But there's they're both 5-star movies, but I almost feel like there's something about the low budget quality and how just epic and new the first Terminator was that like blows my mind. Where I'm just like, whoa, like they did this, you know? But I don't know, it's actually hard to pick which one I like better.
Well, favorite Arnold movie, or one of your favorite Arnold movies?
Oh, favorite Arnold movie? God, I got Predator is
I
right
knew you
up
were
there.
gonna say Predator, yeah.
Predator's right up there. Commando, I've probably seen the most.
See, that's funny because I've seen that the least, and I just I bought it last year, but I finally watched it again like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is
so much
amazing.
It's so good.
This is such a good film.
I would say just off the top of my head, favorite Arnie's, I gotta go Predator, Commando. I've definitely seen the most, and then I would say like a tie between T1 and T2.
I have Predator, of course, Terminator 1 and 2, Total Recalls. I love
Total Recall's
Recall.
great. Total Recall's really good. Yeah.
Total Recall's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed True Lies. True Lies is really good.
Good.
One that's super underrated that I think is almost equal in footing to True Lies for me is Eraser.
I think I've seen it.
Really? You've never seen Eraser?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Holy shit.
Which one's that about?
Holy shit, you've never seen Eraser?
Which one is that?
That's the one where he's like, he comes in and he erases your past and he like makes it look like you're dead, and he's like a kind of like a secret agent, like cleaner type guy.
I feel like I might have seen it.
It's so fucking
I don't
good.
know.
It's so fucking
It's probably a good one for a rewatch.
Yeah, it's one of those
100%.
it's up there. It's like in my mind like that and True Lies are like equal, which is crazy. But I think I've seen True Lies a few more times, but Eraser's really good.
Yeah, Junior's number one for me still.
Where does Junior fall on your rank for how about this? How about for Arnold, for 90s Arnold? How about for that, for 90s Arnold, not including, don't even think about 80s Arnold, 90s Arnold.
90s Arnold my favorite, or just
Yeah, where does it fall?
I would have to I don't even know the timeline of his years. Like for this one, where this one
94?
falls.
94.
What I'm saying, like in general, for my favorite ones,
Yeah.
like in the 90s, like I always just go back to like the movies. I can't tell what year they came out because I think there's always 80s and 90s when I watched them.
Well, there definitely was a heavy
90s.
overlap. Like literally, Total Recall was like made in '89, came out in '90.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's we had Tales from the Crypt, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop.
He was in a Tales from the Crypt episode. Arnold.
Yeah.
Really?
The
Interesting.
Switch.
Arnold was in a Tales from the Crypt episode.
I guess so.
It's disgusting what people will do to stay young.
What's the matter with you? You want to keep that 90-pound corpse for the rest of your death? Keep pumping. I tell the story. Tonight's story is about an old man who finds a new wrinkle in the fountain of youth. A twisted tale that we call the Switch.
That is cool.
He was in a Guns N' Roses music video.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was in a Terminator 2 game.
Sweet.
AC/DC Big Gun. He's in a lot of music videos. That's weird. Dave, have you seen that? I haven't seen that.
No, never heard of Dave.
Dave.
Huh. Isn't that a TV show?
Lincoln.
Dave? I think Dave is a TV show.
Well, there's a new show, Dave. That's a really good one. Has a
Little Dicky.
Little Dicky. In it.
Oh,
It is a
Little
good show.
Dicky.
Season 2.
Last Action Hero, Beretta Island, Terminator 2,
Oh,
True
Last
Lies.
Action Hero.
Last Action Hero is fun.
Action Hero is one of my favorites.
That was a fun one to go back and rewatch. We didn't even do an episode on it. I
No,
just
you just
watched,
watched
it
it.
and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Jingle All the Way is a movie that I love to hate.
Jingle All the Way is enjoyable.
Yeah, it is a love to
As
hate
far as
movie.
Christmas movies go.
Yeah, Arnold was really into the family thing. I think he really struck gold first with Twins. That wasn't really a family movie. That was just a comedy. and he did great. He had really good comedic timing. I think Arnold is kind of underrated in that respect. Like he's really funny.
He's so funny.
Like he's really funny.
He's so
yeah.
funny with those one-liners.
And then Kindergarten Cop, I think that really opened up. Well, I remember seeing a behind-the-scenes thing on that. And Kindergarten Cop, his wife Maria Shriver was pregnant with one of their first kids.
I remember you saying
so
that,
literally, it was like Arnold was like literally about to become a family man in his real life.
Wow, he's
fucking the maid.
Fucking the
yeah.
maid.
Yes. Also, shout out to Joseph Baena. Is it Baena or Baena? His son.
His son, who's actually doing music videos as well.
He's a badass.
Yeah,
that guy like really inspires me. Like I look him up and like he's like following in the steps of Arnold, but like in his own way. Like
Yeah,
he's like into weightlifting and he's getting into acting and he's just such a badass.
Arnold's like his mentor right now for acting.
so
and
cool.
He's asking his dad a lot of questions, man.
We're getting a second Arnie.
I'm excited for it.
It makes me happy. It's one of those. It's like literally he's younger than us, and I look at him and I like admire him, and that's very rare. Because usually it's like you look up to people that are older than you. Yeah. But I see him and I'm like, oh, dude, he's got enough of Arnold in him. Like, I'm truly rooting for him. I'm like, he's going to succeed. I hope.
It's like Clint Eastwood's son, too.
Scott Eastwood,
I'm really rooting for him.
Yeah, I want him to do well. I want some good movies with him. And I think he's capable. He just hasn't found the project that's totally his yet.
Yep.
He's been like more of a supporting character, supporting actor, which is fine. But I want him to have his own leading role where he really crushes it, you know?
Well, in Hollywood, it's a game of nepotism.
It's not who you know, it's who you blow.
Well, it's who you blow or who you're related to.
Exactly. Although I heard when Scott Eastwood was on Rogan, Clint Eastwood was very against that nepotism. He wanted his son to make it on his own. So when he auditioned for American Sniper, Clint didn't even like consider him. He just like literally just like told him no, but like not to his face.
Make it harder.
He made it hard. He didn't make it easy for him, and I could totally see Clint Eastwood doing that, and I respect it. Yeah, because too much nepotism, I think, can kind of fuck them up. You know, they got to kind of make it on their own steam.
That's probably how that gun got fired on set.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the Alec Baldwin one, man. I have a weird feeling that Alec Baldwin's gonna like come back in a few years, and it's not gonna totally kill his career.
Think so?
I think so. I think he'll be back. I think it's a tragedy would happen, obviously, but I think I don't know. I think he'll come back.
I mean, he came back once already with like 30 Rock, and then he like disappeared, and then did something else.
Wait, he was on 30? Oh, I see.
Yeah, he was.
He didn't kill anybody though.
Yeah,
he killed everyone on the cast of 30 Rock. Yeah, he shot Tracy Morgan like 7 times.
He did kill it on that show.
He was in the hospital for a little bit.
Yeah,
Tracy Morgan.
it was a thing. It was a thing.
On that show.
Sure, it was an accident.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he almost killed Tina Fey too, but she got away
with his cock.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. You want to do some? You want to do some junior fun facts?
Junior fun facts.
I love some junior fun facts.
Let's do it. For one thing, actually, I'll tell you. Yeah, you want me to start it?
I would love to.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
I would love
you to.
I would love to. Okay.
I would love you to.
This is actually, I think this is an interesting fun fact.
Sure.
It was partly inspired by a 1973 French-Italian comedy film. Junior was partly inspired by a French-Italian comedy film which had the English title "A Slightly Pregnant Man."
That's a funny title.
A slightly pregnant man tells a story of Marco, a gentleman who is told by his doctor that the hormones in his recently consumed chicken dinner had made him feel feminine enough to carry a baby.
That's hilarious. Just the wording of that is funny. It sounds like something from Mr. Bean. Like that's funny.
Yeah, there's a full-on like I can't even like pronounce the actual film. So
wow, a slightly pregnant man.
Slightly pregnant.
A slightly.
So
pregnant
maybe
man.
that film's better than this film.
I don't know.
It sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. One thing I will give it credit for, and all those guys credit for, is taking a chance on something this wacky. And that's something you don't see as much now. It seems like, yeah, I mean, they'll take a chance on some things, but everything feels very formulaic.
Well, I
now,
mean, especially you have people that you're familiar with working with, and you're like, of course I'm going to do this film.
And it's kind of one of those where it would be like all of us doing a project together, and we've already had, say, 2 big hits, and then you come up and you're like, hey, I got this idea, and it may not be as strong as the other ideas, but obviously we're going to do it.
Can you think of another movie like that? I have a movie like that already.
That's not as good as the other 2.
Yeah, but they had it. But no, it's not a good movie. But the people who filmed it had a really good time doing it.
Oh, I mean, off the top of my head, This Is the End.
This is the end. I think it's a good movie though.
I didn't
but
like
you're
it.
in the same realm.
Yeah.
The people, Your Highness.
I didn't like it. Your Highness.
Your Highness. That's a shitty ass movie.
I could see that.
But everyone on that film had a great time.
Wasn't Steve Zahn in that?
I don't think so. No.
Was it? What am I thinking of? Yeah, something else.
Strange Wilderness. I don't know.
I love Strange Wilderness. Strange Wilderness. Steve Zahn. Citizen Kane, Dark Knight, Strange Wilderness, Steve Zahn. Anyway, so Fun fact here, Mel Gibson turned the film down after his church disapproved of the storyline. Jr. was initially set to star Mel Gibson in the lead role, an actor who would prove no stranger to stepping into the shoes of females after he appeared in the film What Women Want 7 years later. Fun fact, never seen that one.
You need to watch that.
I heard it's awesome. Love Mel.
Not the sequel.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Gibson's church did not agree with Jr.'s storyline, calling it unnatural, you think? So he eventually turned the opportunity down. Wow.
I could see that.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. But Lethal Weapon was totally natural. I loved Lethal Weapon. It's so fun, man.
I got this one.
Continue.
Let me take a sip of my water.
Oh, take a sip. Take a sip.
It was pitched to Arnold Schwarzenegger as a film that respects and admires women. When discussing whether he would like to star in the film, Arnold Schwarzenegger was told by filmmakers that Jr., despite being about a man getting pregnant, would be a film that would respect and admire women. In fact, Arnie was persuaded that he was the perfect man for the role, being told the producer that it takes the strongest man in the world to do a woman's job.
I think Arnie did it because he knew it was going to be fun working with his boys. I think that's ultimately what it boiled down to.
And then going to the next fun fact, that's basically... You're right into the segue of that.
Okay. So, Arnie refused to star in the film unless it was directed by Ivan Reitman. Jr. was initially set to be directed by Brian Levant, director of Beethoven and The Flintstones, among many other films, but Schwarzenegger had someone else in mind. In fact, Arnie refused to star in the film at all unless it was directed by Ivan Reitman, who he'd previously done Twins and Kindergarten Cop with, and Dave, the latter of which he only appeared in as a brief cameo, which we'll have to watch. That's interesting. It makes total sense, though. Especially Danny. I wish him and Danny DeVito would have done something like after that. You know what shocks me is that Arnold never had a cameo on It's Always Sunny.
That's true.
Because, I mean, think about it. Like, there would have been so many opportunities, like with Mac being all into like action heroes and everything.
That's so true.
Why was Arnold never even in at least one episode of It's Always Sunny? That blows my mind. That really blows my mind.
Damn. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's actually good.
Like, why haven't we had that? They've had like freaking 11 seasons or something like that.
They're 14th.
Oh, okay, I'm off, but
maybe more than that actually.
That's crazy. But dude, Arnold would be perfect. You know how funny that would be seeing Mac and Arnold like interact?
Yeah, that'd be really awesome.
Wouldn't that be the best?
Could be like his grandpa or something.
It'd be freaking amazing.
Hilarious.
You know, it'd be so funny is if it just like it's like a loose connection. That's actually really funny. If he's like, oh yeah, I'm working for this guy. What are you doing? I'm his bodyguard. Like, who's the guy? Be like, oh, you never heard of him. Be like, who is he? This Arnold something? Arnold what? Arnold Schwarzenegger? Arnold what? Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, that'd be hilarious. Like, I would love that. I would love that.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, so you take over.
Arnie spent time in the hospital waiting rooms to prepare for his role. Arnold Schwarzenegger went to some extreme lengths to prepare for his role as a pregnant man, including spending time in the hospital waiting rooms to learn how pregnant women behave. He also wore his pregnancy suit hours before filming in the scenes in order to further identify with the character he was playing.
Arnold truly is a great actor.
Very method for this role.
Yeah.
He also impregnated his
housekeeper. He did
for the role.
Yeah. What was funny was thinking of him having sex with, spoiler alert, having sex with the girl the scientist lady that he falls in love with,
Emma,
whatever her name is, and while he's like pregnant. It's hilarious.
Emma Thompson, the actress. Yeah.
Was that her name?
The actress.
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson. Right.
Dr. Diana Redden.
Interesting.
Nanny McPhee.
She was unique. I don't think I've seen her in much anything else.
Yeah, she. I had to like look her up. I was like, oh yeah.
She seems like someone that would have been in a Jurassic Park sequel.
Yeah. Man, you're just hitting me in the head with some alternate castings.
Am I really right now? I'm blowing you away right now. Blowing you away.
Yeah,
I mean, feel free to change them on the fly. That's all I'm saying.
No, I already. I did my own. I didn't. Do,
okay.
Yeah, I did my own.
Okay. A controversial scene featuring an abortion had to be cut from the finished film. One of the first cuts of the film contained an abortion scene that Universal Pictures insisted be removed because it was too sensitive. Makes sense. Reports also revealed that a number of reshoots were required before the studio were happy with the finished product. Pretty hardcore, Universal, dang.
I mean, pretty hardcore.
My body, my choice. That made me laugh. That was kind of funny. Yeah, this was a weird one. What was crazy to see, too, like, speaking of Arnold as an actor, he was, like, his character was very strange in this. Like, he was, like, a very kind of boring guy going through this, and Arnold did a great job. Like, in terms of his actual acting, he did really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're gonna analyze this film, like, you know what?
Maybe I'll go back and watch it again. But it was weird. There were parts that were just weird. But I guess that's the point, right?
It is a strange movie.
It's a strange movie, and
it made
me a little
uncomfortable
sometimes. I'm kind of like, this is odd.
Yeah. Okay. It has been named as one of the worst comedy films of all time. Many critics review the film unfavorably, with comedian Michael Nelson even going so far to name its second worst comedy film of all time. However, American reviewer Roger Ebert disagreed, writing, "I know this sounds odd, but Schwarzenegger is perfect for this role. Observe his acting in Junior, and you'll see his skills in many serious actors could only envy."
Look at that.
See?
Freaking Roger Ebert agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Many critics reviewed the film unfavorably. Didn't we just read this? God damn it. It was the least successful of Ivan Reitman's collaborations with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Shocker. Released in November 1994, Junior ended up being the least financially successful collaboration between writer-director Ivan Reitman and star Arnold Schwarzenegger. Both Twins, released in 1988, and Kindergarten Cop, released in 1990, performed better at the box office, but despite that, Reitman has revealed that Junior is actually his favorite of the three films, as you said.
As Max said.
Yeah, I can. Oh, Max did that? That's awesome. But it doesn't surprise me at all. This was the least successful. It doesn't surprise me at all. It was a steaming pile of
But yeah, we see why.
Yeah,
let's just play around and let's have fun on this.
Yeah.
Let's have a CGI baby on.
They had fun, but there were some elements of it that were crap. I hate to say it.
That's what I liked about it. I mean, it kind of had. It felt a little bit campy.
Yeah, it's fun. That's why I like. That's why I enjoy
like
this
that
film.
In a comedy, it's not like
turn your brain off for a second and just watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I've seen them do it better before. I think that I stand with the other critics on that one. Like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, and then it's like Junior. I'm like, what's another movie you can think of that was like that? You said Your Highness.
Your Highness.
I'm trying to think of another one. There's got to be. I'm sure there were some Chevy Dan Aykroyd outings, like
probably.
Spies Like Us. That one was kind of like, whatever. Anyway, let's continue. Sorry.
Well, and I just wanted to correct you guys. We shouldn't call him a pregnant man. The new way to call it is a birthing person.
Birthing person.
Birthing person.
So any pregnant people, you can't call them mothers or pregnant people. Birthing person is what the Biden administration has approved.
Perfect. Well, we will be sure to adhere to those guidelines here at No Expectations.
Well, in the 90s, the description's about a pregnant man, so I'm going to keep it as a pregnant man.
Perfect.
for right now.
Perfect.
Okay.
But in modern times, yes, absolutely.
I'm offended.
I'm super offended.
But I'll roll with it.
I'm super offended.
I like being offended. It feels good.
Oh, yeah.
Max, get that off the
It's
screen.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, and also, fuck the modern times, man. 90s worth of shit.
90s worth of shit.
These were so good.
Get what off the screen? What? Oh, my God.
It's beautiful.
Come on.
It's beautiful. It was actually very good effects for the time, too.
It's
It was a good effect.
better than the Twilight Baby, man. That's
pretty
good.
good.
That's way better. What a freaking trip.
Yep. That was literally the funniest scene in the movie.
Yeah, that one made me laugh so
Yeah.
many times. Like I go back and rewind that multiple times just for that scene.
Wow.
I have, yeah.
Wow.
Mama. Mama. Mama.
All right. The next fun fact. It received 1 nomination at the Academy Awards and 2 at the Golden Globes. Despite the lukewarm critical response and average performance at the box office, Junior still received a few nods come award season because both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Emma Thomas received Golden Globe Award nominations for their performances, and that the film main song "Lock What Love Has Done," sung by Patti Smith, was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
So
I would actually say the soundtrack is solid, or the musical score is pretty good.
Yeah, a little cheesy, but it was.
But for the 90s,
Yeah.
I think it's what it was. Like
It worked.
Little twinkles and everything.
It worked, yeah. It worked. It was featured in a bizarre Scottish essay writing competition. In 2007, a Scottish artist called Sandy Smith launched a competition in the Scottish Herald newspaper asking people to write an essay explaining why Junior should be considered the greatest film of all time. Unfortunately, the competition was not a success, with there being fewer essays submitted than there were prizes being offered.
That would have been. That's actually really fun to do.
That's a fun fact.
I mean, just an assignment to do. Why is Junior the best film of
ever.
all time?
Yeah. You know what I actually remember being a really cool exercise, actually at SCC, the film school at Scottsdale Community College, where James and I both spent some time. I had this teacher named Rose, Roze. He kind of like Cher, Rose, Zendaya. Like he just went by Rose. Really cool guy. And he had this class that was like a television production class, but he would kind of go off the script a little bit. And he was more into film. So he would just kind of be like, hey, he's like, I know a little bit about television production. He's like, but if you want to talk about film, let's talk about film. And he was really cool. And I remember him having debates like that very often where he would say, hey, pick a stance and then take the opposite side and try to convince me. So literally we started with politics.
You did that a lot.
It was very cool.
Yeah, you were pretty good at that.
It was really cool, yeah. And I remember we started with politics. He's like, let's make people uncomfortable. He's like, let's talk about politics. And at the time, whoever it was, he's like, pick your candidate. He's like, all right, now pick the candidate that you don't like and try to convince me why they're the best. And it was so interesting. And then we did that with movies too. So he actually did that. And it was a really interesting way to think, like as a critic, because it makes you see positives in something you normally wouldn't look for. And it was like,
do you think that'll be a fun segment?
I think it'd be a fun. It would be a very fun segment. Yeah, find like tell me why this movie's the best. Like yeah.
It's sort of like this. I have the competition up, like the little prompts for the essay. This essay must seek to prove my theory that this movie is the best film ever made, and thus crosses the boundary into becoming a monumental artwork of its own right, and should be viewed as such. So
I kind of want to try it. You guys want to try it as a new segment right now? Just one we do once in a while for movies that one of us might not like. Try to like convince you why it's. I try to convince you why it's the best.
I don't have one right now. Man, but we can
sure
try.
I'm gonna write an essay.
All right, I'm going to convince you why Junior 1994
so for Junior
is the best film of all time. So first of all, we get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger really flexing his acting muscle more than we've ever seen before. You see him really transporting into the mind and the body of a woman, and ultimately I would say the soul of a woman. And there's a scene towards the end where the music's playing, you almost want to cry, and it transcends just being a regular comedy, and it goes into the world of connecting people as one, not just as men and women, but as human beings. So, Junior is a masterpiece.
So if I read that essay, it sounds like a bunch of horse shit.
Well, the movie.
But I see where you were going.
The movie was kind of horseshit.
Do you want me to read the last paragraph of the essay that won the competition?
Let's do it.
Yeah, all right.
In conclusion, this brief would argue that the film is indeed a pioneering work, but has not been deemed as such for the simple reason that the piece has not been viewed in the correct context. Instead, the brief argues that Junior is not a one-joke movie, but instead a film that at the time of release was pioneering new filmmaking ideals by addressing elements of non-places and banality without falling into the trap of making the film itself a banal non-entity. Wow. This, coupled with the social commentary the film provides on a subject that applies significantly to almost every viewer in some manner or another, makes Junior not only a monumental work, but one which could be termed as one of the greatest films of all time.
Fuck that guy.
This guy.
That's not even good.
This guy just used a lot of big words to make it sound like it was.
He's wanted to win the prize. Nobody thinks this is a good movie.
The only reason he won is because there was no one
Wrong.
else wrote an essay.
Nah, it's all right. But
it's a very entertaining, weird.
It's one of those that like blows my mind that it exists, and I'm
look at that poster.
Yeah, it's out there, man. It's out there. Yeah. I don't know. You want to do some alternate casting?
Yeah, let's do some alternate casting.
All right, I want you to kick it off because you are the bigger Junior fan.
Thank you. All right, let me. You know how I always do it.
Of course.
I think I just did the three main. Yeah, I did the three main. So let's start with Emma Thompson, who was Dr. Diana.
I didn't know there was another famous Emma Thompson out there.
Who's? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah, Emma Thompson. Isn't there an Emma Thompson in not Twilight? There's another famous Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson was in Back to the Future. No, who am I thinking of in Back to the Future?
Emma Thompson.
I am, right?
Oh, I'm thinking Emma Watson.
Is Emma Thompson in Back to the Future? Who am I thinking of?
Who the hell's Emma Thompson?
Who am I thinking of right now?
I don't know. You're thinking of Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Man, I thought you knew Back to the Future, bro.
The Thompsons. All right, so I picked Laura Dern, who was in Jurassic Park.
Look at us getting in there. Did you just add that as we were talking, or had you already?
No, I was thinking about it.
Same wavelength. Mm-hmm. Same wavelength.
And then for it's DeVito, Dr. Larry, to Danny Glover.
Okay. All right, Danny Glover.
And you can see where I'm going with this.
He's too old
because
for this shit.
we actually said it with who was actually going to be the role for this. For Arnie, Dr. Alex, Mel Gibson.
That would have been wild, man.
So just
That would have been wild.
I think it would have been fun.
That's fun.
Cool.
I mean, they would
Yeah,
get
yeah,
along
yeah.
really well.
Already had the
And,
chemistry.
Yeah, good chemistry. I think. I think. I mean, yeah, could have been worse than what we got.
It still would have been a trip.
Yeah, it would have been fun. Oh, the Fairley Brothers. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
For director Fairley Brothers, thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. Sorry. You can read my director. You read my.
All right.
But that's actually a solid choice.
Thank you. I was really thinking on that one.
I bet you were thinking because of like Raising Arizona.
No.
Really?
No.
Because I mean, they have experience with like the family dynamic and babies and stuff.
I don't know why I was thinking Fairly. I just think it's just because they're really good with this like ensemble of people to put together.
Well, I was thinking Raising Arizona because Nick Cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, you're scooting over to your left. Can you scoot to your right a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure.
You keep on like moving. No, other way. Other way. Other way. No, we're losing you. Come on back. All right,
Hello.
That's much better.
Okay.
Ben, would you like to kick off your alternate cast?
Yes.
What do you want to start with?
I'm just go down the line. So my love interest, the Emma Thompson character, I picked Gina Davis, Andy McDowell, or Kirstie Alley.
Who's Andy McDowell?
Andy McDowell, she was from I'm trying to think of her big movie. Hang on. So
While you're doing that, real quick.
I'm drawing a blank. Andy McDowell.
For modern times, if this film was made now, which is pretty obvious who would be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Groundhog
and-
Day. That's what she was from.
Perfect role.
Yes.
So modern times for Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, guess who would it be?
Modern times, it would be The Rock and Kevin Hart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Channing Tatum and Charlie Day, which would be freaking awesome.
Actually, that would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
For the ex-wife, I picked Jane Curtin from Coneheads, Rosa Perez, or Kathleen Turner. Yeah,
Our good old Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner. She definitely had a hot streak in the 80s and 90s. I don't know what happened. Dear God. Freda Felcher. For DeVito's character, I picked Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, or Billy Crystal.
Solid.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
solid.
I actually put a lot of thought into that one. That was
Yeah.
tough. That took me like half an hour just watching the movie, thinking like, who would be better? For Arnie, I picked Eddie Murphy, Chevy Chase, or Tom Hanks. Yeah, it was tough.
So
It was tough.
it took you 30 minutes.
No, for DeVito.
Oh, for DeVito.
Yeah.
So you weren't really paying attention to the movie.
I was paying attention.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
It was easy to
Just
it was easy to check out. Let me
kidding.
tell you. Easy to
No,
check
but
out.
that's
Thank you.
for Arnie.
I had a few others on there that I actually went back and erased. Like I had Bill Murray on there for a bit, and I erased him.
I don't know how I feel about Arnie though. For your
Yeah. Well, I thought
Hanks,
imagine. Well,
probably.
I was thinking Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy together in Bowfinger. I was
Yeah.
thinking that kind of vibe.
I think that's just because I'm just in the whole realm of like a big manly man.
Yeah, I get that. Chevy, I was imagining Chevy in his Clark Griswold phase. Like, imagine Chevy like having a baby. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
it's
it's kinda
it's kind of funny. And then Tom Hanks, he's so versatile, and that was like prime Tom Hanks. He literally could have done anything. He literally could have done even a pregnant Tom Hanks. Like, for screenwriter, I picked Jeffrey Price, who did Doc Hollywood and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And for director, I picked Frank Oz, who did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, What About Bob, and Bowfinger.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I didn't do the alternate casting, but I think it's an obvious one would just be Sylvester Stallone.
Totally. Yeah,
yeah.
Stallone did cross my mind, but I was like, it seems a little too on the nose, you know.
Yeah, I even thought about Dolph Lundgren. I was like, it's a
Yeah,
little-
low-hanging
this is-
fruit. Yeah,
Dolph doesn't have the range for it. the
He
comedic
was
range.
he was a scientist though.
He was, yeah, in real life.
He's
Yeah,
a
it's
real-
true. He actually has like a freaking
He has a degree and everything.
biochemical engineering degree. He's like brilliant. Same with Brian May, the guitarist for Queen. He's like some brilliant like PhD.
Yeah,
but
surprises
he's
you. Man.
also a guitarist. That's super incredible. So yeah, it feels wrong shitting on Junior, but I'm glad it's out there in the ether. I'm glad that it exists and that I got to see an Arnold movie that I haven't seen. But yeah, it wasn't that good.
You want to do the ratings?
Yeah, I thought long and hard about it, and I tried to get it up as high as I could, but my overall sentiment towards it, and it pains me to say, I got to go a 2.5 out of 5. Oof. This was a miss for me, and I'm really sorry, Arnold and Danny, and Ivan.
Hurt.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Sorry. It was no good. It was no good.
This one's tough for me.
Yeah.
I don't even want I think I enjoy this film for what it is.
Yeah,
So it's an average film. I give it a 3. I believe I
give it a 3. Okay, so we're not 2.
Yeah, or a 3 1/4. But I just feel like I'm gonna give it a 3 1/4. I'm gonna give it 3 1/4.
Wow, we're doing quarters now. Okay.
I'm gonna pull Max and do some weird odd ones.
I'm impressed. Okay. Yeah, I just got to go with my gut on that one because I think back on how much Twins and Kindergarten Cop genuinely made me laugh, and this one, like, I only laughed like 3 times, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on here, guys?
I don't think 3's a bad. I think for 3 for us is like it's just average film for us.
Yeah, there's some people that freak out. Like I remember Spider-Man. There were people that were like, "Oh my god, 3.5 out of 5." I'm like, it was a great movie.
It's a great
movie, but could it have been improved to be a 5-star movie? Totally. But does that mean that 3.5 is like a bad movie? Not at all. Not at all. And even then, like, my rating of 2.5 out of 5 is just because I'm thinking of the potential stacked up against what these guys had done with Twins and Kindergarten Cop. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Max?
Just give it a 3.
Damn.
I liked it. I liked that it wasn't good.
Yeah, it's fun.
If that makes any sense at all.
Sometimes you like a bad movie.
It's a good bad movie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so cringe.
And who knows?
as
Maybe
the kids say.
maybe one day I'll go back and rewatch it. You never know. Just for the love of those guys. Maybe
Take a couple of shots and just watch this film.
exactly. It's like Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yes.
Over time, you just learn to like it.
See, that's how. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dumb and Dumber 2 is one that I said this last time. It's one that I hated when I saw it in theaters.
I remember.
And now I go back and watch it. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad this exists. It's fun. You know?
It's fun.
Yeah. So it's one of those. Sometimes it takes a little time, and you accept what was made by the artist that you love. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, remember, we are on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts.
And Google as well. Google
sweet.
Podcasts too.
That's badass.
Yeah.
So make sure if you guys are at work or cruising on your commute and you want to listen to some No Expectations, you sync up your boys, cue up your boys, and be kind.
Rewind.
Subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
I want my Larry.
Larry.
What's the matter?
She was Daddy's little girl. Now he's giving her away.
What are you doing?
Feel how soft my skin is.
What's the matter?
Does my body disgust you?
What?
My body. Is it disgusting? I just felt it kick. Oh, come, feel it.
No, I don't think so.
Come, just feel it. Come here. We need a healing experience anyway.
Give me a break, will you?
Just do it.